Are you trying to maintain and not gain weight during this Thanksgiving and holiday season? Then stay with me because I have a special guest, Meryl Fury, who is the CEO and president of PBNM, Plant-Based Nutrition Movement, to help us figure out some quick and easy recipe ingredient swaps. So, Meryl, welcome to Ask Nutritionist Deepa's podcast episode.
Well, thanks, Deepa. This is so much fun. Such a pleasure to be here.
Well, welcome. And we will get right into the topic today because Thanksgiving is literally around the corner. And we have quite a few people who are trying to be mindful and have done a lot of good goals and progress before Thanksgiving, before this holiday season to try to stay healthy, which is extremely important. And we are just going to help those who are on that journey and those who want to be more mindful on how they can still enjoy the Thanksgiving feast without really feeling guilty and gaining weight. So we'll just talk about some easy, simple recipe ingredient swaps here, right?
Yep, sounds good.
Okay, so everybody out there, me and Meryl has been really having fun last few weeks talking about the traditional recipes and figuring it out. How can we make them healthier without really losing their flavor and authenticity, right? And it's been a very interesting experience, and we learned a lot, and we want to share some of our ideas and some of our experiments with you guys. And to do that, we have what we decided, we are going to have a very elaborate menu on the paper here, and you will have access to these recipes as you know through our PDF. But if you need the recipes for all the dishes that we are going to discuss, then give me or send me or Meryl an email and we'll send you the recipes. So don't worry about writing things down. We have that for you. So on our menu today, we are going to talk about 3 side dishes: the traditional greens, the mac and cheese, and green bean casserole, followed by a very interesting turkey alternative or turkey swap, followed by cranberry sauce and gravy, and in the end, none other than Meryl's famous sweet potato pie. Okay, so everybody get ready, and let's start with Meryl. Let's start with greens. I mean, first side.
Okay, so at my house, traditionally, we have a salad. That's got to be the start. And since I'm running the Thanksgiving dinner at my house, it goes by my rules, right? So we start with a salad, and the salad is always as colorful as we can make it. We encourage everyone to eat the rainbow, as we say. Deepa's holding up a great sign. Eat more colors. So
eat more colors, different colors here, guys.
Absolutely. So we could use for red, of course, tomatoes and radishes, and for oranges, you put your carrots. For yellow, you could use a yellow onion maybe, or yellow squash, raw. So you're going to go through the colors and make sure. Purples, you could have a purple onion or purple cabbage. Green is very easy, spinach or a lettuce of some kind.
Okay.
From there, we would move to the next. That's kind of the first course. You get a salad. And then from there, we would move to greens. These are the sides that would be on the plate. So in my family, traditionally, we eat collard greens, mustard greens, turnip greens. Now, I know those type of greens are very strong in flavor, and not everybody is, what we say in my house is, that's big people food. You might not be ready for that kind of a strength of flavor. But you could certainly have Swiss chard is very nice, very mild, beautiful. Kale is on the milder side for that type of a dark leafy green. Spinach is also super mild. You know, we give that to babies. So to do that, we would just saute some onions and some garlic and maybe some red bell pepper, something with a little bit more color, maybe a little bit of celery, saute that in the bottom of a pan. And once the onions turn translucent, we add the greens, which have already been rinsed and have water still clinging to the leaves, and saute that in. You know, the greens start to, you know, wilt and smush down and reduce in their size. And that's what we would have for greens. Cook that until you're comfortable with the texture.
Perfect. So then the ingredient that you are going to change here is that meat. Is there any meat in it?
Yes,
Okay.
great, great, great. Yeah, so traditionally, a lot of people would use like bacon or some sort of a smoky meat. Maybe it might be smoked turkey leg or um, a smoked ham of some
Okay.
kind. But in the plant-based tradition, for sure, there's none of that. So we would take that out. If you wanted to have a little bit of a smoky flavor, maybe you could use a little bit of natural smoke seasoning,
Sure.
you know, the liquid smoke, just a drop or two goes very far.
Or you can add robust mushrooms. You know, mushrooms add
Certainly.
that little bit of a meatiness and the meaty texture as well. So
Yep.
if you have portobello mushrooms, big chunks, you know, grilled, just mixing with the greens, it's going to be perfect.
Yes.
So that's, and guys, we need to eat greens, especially cooked in a healthy way, because they are going to keep our blood pressure down. Because, you know, Thanksgiving, sometime dinner table conversation can raise people's blood pressure. so so we are also trying to keep everybody healthy as you are enjoying. So so this is going to be you know, a intervention where you eat your food, which is really going to act as medicine
Yeah.
as you are eating them. So that's the advantage of eating greens. Okay, I'm going to take a crack at my side here, which is mac and cheese. Well, those of you who missed our Facebook Live, where me and Meryl showed how to actually recreate the mac and cheese using lentil macaroni by Bentilia, cashew cream by using cashews. We made a cheese using cashews and Nutritionist and all the garlic and mustard and all kinds of flavorful ingredients. So I'm that recipe and the pie recipe is available on our YouTube. So I'm not going to go through the details of how to make that mac and cheese. The take home message is that if you swap regular pasta with lentil pasta, you are immediately adding fiber and protein. Okay, so this is going to help you feel full, and you can have small quantity of this mac and cheese and feel full, because this lentil pasta is filling due to the fiber content of lentil. So my ingredient swap there, Meryl, I thought was you know, swapping the regular white pasta with this lentil pasta. And the cashew sauce that you are going to make for the mac and cheese can also be used along with mushrooms to make that creamy mushroom base for the green bean casserole. So it's going to be one sauce, and you can get two different sides out of it. And for green bean casserole, I was thinking that on top of adding, instead of fried onions, we can add some beautifully grilled or roasted onions. You know, I roast my onion, I grill my onion slices in the oven all the time, and it looks beautiful, very rich color. So my swap for green bean casserole is swapping the creamy mushroom, canned mushroom soup with the creamy cheesy cashew cream. Of course, you're going to add other herbs and spices and mushrooms to it, and topping it up with some grilled caramelized onions. Okay, ball is in your court now.
Okay, that sounds really good. I am not a big fan of the traditional green bean casserole, but that sounds really good the way you described that. The next thing we would like to swap out or ingredients for would be the stuffing. Stuffing traditionally has like butter. Some people, I think, put eggs. It can be a very high calorie
Yeah,
part of the meal.
and it is also very bread oriented. There's a lot of white bread, not crumbs, but croutons being used.
Right.
Yeah.
So for this, we would like to use like a cornbread would be great. Cornbread stuffing is traditional, very common in a lot of households. And instead of adding milk or using, doing it that way, once you have the cornbread, you can cut that up, allow it to dry out, cut that up, add mushrooms, add walnuts, add pecans. Those are wonderful. Add lentils would be good, or millet. You could use, I have my little list here, chestnuts. You could use garlic, celery, onion. You could even throw some dried cranberries in there, and that would just be so rich, If you are a person, and I'm making a little joke with Deepa right now, if you're a person who likes hot peppers, because Deepa's a hot pepper lover, if you like hot peppers, you could certainly sprinkle, and even if you're not a big fan, you could certainly sprinkle some crushed red pepper.
That's true.
With the stuffing. And it would, being a little judicious, it wouldn't get too hot. And it would balance out all of that because you have the sweet with the cornbread and the cranberries. You'd have the salty with, maybe some of the nuts. You'd have the umami in there with the mushroom. You've had the heat, pungent with the red flake pepper. I think that would just be really, really great together.
That's true. I mean, that's the beauty of swapping the ingredients, because this is your chance to experiment it and kind of figuring it out what flavor, can you create. It's actually quite fun. I mean, I'm going now. I may go a little too extreme here, but I won't mind throwing in some chopped jalapenos in mine, and create that smoky flavor. Hey, who is watching me when I'm cooking, right? So they will all figure out later, but like Meryl said, it's my kitchen, it's my rule. So take this opportunity to experiment with some new ingredients. It's actually lots and lots of fun. So okay, now since you talked about stuffing, I'm going to go down to cranberry sauce. Okay, and the easy ingredient swap for cranberry sauce is literally swapping the sugar with dates. Okay, you can use the half the amount of dates and just back it up with some ginger and orange zest, and it really brings that flavor and texture together. So that's very easy swap for the cranberry sauce. And I use my cranberry sauce at least for another month as a spread for my peanut butter toast, or I use it as a dip with some celery sticks and jicama sticks, because it's sour, it's little sweet, it's little gingery, so it is a nice little dip that you can use post Thanksgiving.
Sounds great.
Yes. Okay, Meryl, are you going to tell us about the gravy?
Okay, gravy. How do you make gravy without a turkey? Well, we got it. We got it. So one thing that works really well is to take, say, a variety of mushrooms. This is how I do. Yeah. I take a mix of mushrooms, let's say shiitake. It might be enoki,
Yes.
uh, uh, oyster, could be
Yes.
white button. I mostly don't use white button too much, but
Yeah.
you could take a mix of mushrooms, right?
Mm.
Saute them, chop them up, saute them in a pan.
Mm.
Don't need any oil to saute them. This just a
Mm.
reminder, you can saute them in a hot pan and they will do fine. Just keep moving them around. Add a little bit of onion, add a little bit of garlic. And when they cook down, remove them from the heat. To make it creamy, you can
Yeah.
actually add cooked rice, puree some,
Mm.
use the mushrooms, puree with cooked rice, and a little bit of mushroom stock, I would say, mushroom broth.
Mm.
Add a little bit of thyme. You can add a little bit of sherry, cooking sherry, or dry sherry.
Mm-hmm.
This that is actually a recipe for mushroom bisque soup,
Okay.
but it works really well as a gravy. Beautiful.
This adding rice is such a great idea, and if you want to take it to the next level, you can even add brown rice because it's not
Yes,
going to change the color of the gravy, and
yes.
will add some fat, I mean some fiber, I'm sorry, to the gravy. So guys, if you look at all the things that we have discussed so far, you can see how just by swapping couple of ingredients, we are making it healthier by adding more fiber, right? So keep that in mind, because it's that fiber which is going to help you maintain and not gain weight and feel guilty once the holidays are over. Okay, drum roll. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. For the turkey. So for the turkey, I'm not going to go after these artificial turkey, plant-based turkey balls and none of that stuff. I'm going to completely turn around and going to make this stuffed butternut squash. Okay, so the butternut squash, once you open it, you bake it and then stuff it with wild rice, onion, celery, cranberries, rosemary, sage, garlic, and wild rice is going to get cooked with vegetable broth to induce more flavor. And of course, there's going to be some mushroom. So then you stuff this butternut squash with this absolutely stunning looking beautiful uh, stuffing, and then you bake it again, and then you cut it into these rounds, like slices or rounds, and just imagine that with your cranberry sauce and gravy and the stuffing that Meryl made or has discussed can also be part of this stuffing. So you are going to basically take the Meryl's recipe for stuffing and kind of combine with some of the ingredients that I have traditionally used in my butternut squash stuffing recipe, and create really recreate this experience of flavor and texture without feeling guilty. So that's how my stuffed butternut squash is going to look on the table, along with all these different dishes that we talked about. It's easy, it's healthy, and most importantly, it's flavorful. So we don't have anything to lose here. And now, Meryl, last but not the least, the pumpkin pie.
Yes. So in our household, we don't really eat pumpkin pie. I
Oh, I'm
was
sorry,
no,
I meant
hey,
sweet
no
potato
problem.
pie.
No, no problem, no problem. Most people do eat pumpkin pie.
That's
That's
right.
very
The
common.
pumpkin pie is so stuck in my brain, even though I discussed the sweet
No,
potato
no,
pie with you.
no worries. That's one of the swaps.
Yes, that's one
Is
of the sauce.
you can certainly continue with pumpkin pie, but
Yeah.
traditionally in my family, we always ate sweet potato pie.
Mm-hmm.
I basically don't really eat pumpkin pie at all because it's always sweet potato pie. And
Yeah.
what we do to swap out the ingredients, which are very similar to pumpkin pie ingredients, right? So for sweet potato pie, traditionally, it's butter, the sweet potatoes, there's eggs, some people put condensed milk, and then there are the spices, right? The cinnamon, the ginger, some people use allspice, some people use nutmeg, and sugar, right? To sweeten, brown sugars too. In a healthier version of that, we start with the crust. The crust, instead of that white flaky kind of pie crust that we always think of, we would make the crust out of oat flour, whole grain oat flour. We use pecans, which are, this is all gets processed in a food processor. That seems like the easiest way to get it to work. So oat flour, pecans, and dates, and a little bit of ginger. And the crust then gets put into the pie pan and baked for 10 minutes. And then it comes out like a cookie. It's beautiful. It's so lovely. Nutty, it's caramelized, it's rich, it's beautiful. And that, and I also use coconut milk in there to moisten it. Then for the filling, it's the sweet potatoes, which get pureed.
Baked and pureed.
Yes,
you roast them, roast and pureed.
Yes, thank you. Yes, baked and then pureed. We use medjool dates, which are just so luscious and so creamy. For the sweetener, that's the dates. Then spices are the ginger, or the cinnamon, or the nutmeg, or the allspice, and that is somewhat regional and I think specific to different families. Everybody has their own style. And again, a little bit of coconut milk, and I think that's all that went in there.
That's right. And guys, you can watch the entire recipe on Ask Nutritionist Deepa's website and YouTube, Facebook, and PBNM's YouTube channel as well. And if you can't find it, then just send us an email and we'll send you a link. Like I said, the PDF for the mac and cheese and sweet potato pie is also available. If you want help with any other recipe makeover, please reach out to us. We are here to help. We want to make sure that you stay on the wagon of staying healthy. And this was fun. I mean, we came up with quite a few interesting swaps and which work. And Meryl, do you have anything to add to before we leave?
I just wanted to thank you, Deepa, for, allowing me to play along with you in the kitchen. It's been such a blast. You did mention that I am president and CEO of Plant-Based Nutrition Movement.
Correct.
And that is a nonprofit organization. And our goal the reason we exist, our mission, is to support people in their continued access and movement toward and progress in eating a whole food, plant-based diet. Right now, we do have a couple of fundraisers we're doing. I just wanted to bring that up if you don't mind.
Sure. Not at all, please.
We are...
Oh, look at that.
Can
you hold it up? Can you hold it up? Yeah. Eat, plan, save the world. pbnm.org. Oh, I'm going to order a few.
These are masks.
Yeah.
We are selling them for $20 each.
Okay.
And they go to support our mission. Actually, right now, we are working with underserved communities in the Chicago area to bring them healthy plant-based foods, whole meal kits we're putting together. So that's one thing. And then on that same note, we are doing a food drive, which will go to giving meal kits to a food pantry in the Chicagoland area. I think it's the Lakeview Food Pantry.
Okay.
And the food kit is to provide all of the ingredients for a black bean soup, so that people who come to the food pantry can get a kit with the beans and the seasonings and onions and tomatoes, everything that goes into the soup, as well as the recipe and instructions for how to make it. And they can go home and cook that and have one well-tested plant-based meal.
Plant-based meal. Oh, perfect. Because it's all about making small changes, one meal at a time. So that one meal, that one step is going to have lot of, it's incremental value there. Every step you take to make every meal or every bite more nutritious, flavorful, it's going to pay off at the end. So, Meryl,
So
thank you
just
so much. Yeah,
one
go
more
ahead.
thing. I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
should have said, if anyone's interested in a mask,
Yes.
or if they're interested in contributing to our food drive,
Hmm.
please go to our website. It's pbnm.org, it's .org, pbnm.org. And there is a place on there where you can, send in a contact. You can do that. And for the masks, you can just send an email to masks, MASKS, at pbnm.org, and just say how many you want, and we'll send them to you happily.
Perfect. This is a perfect stocking stuffer
Absolutely.
during holidays. So I'm excited. I may order few for myself and for my friends because I'm trying to spread the message as well. And I'm grateful for all your work. And from Meryl and myself here, we wish everyone happy, healthy, grateful, mindful
Same.
Thanksgiving, and just we'll see you next week with something more fun as well. So thanks again for joining, and talk to you soon. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.